Look, every bootstrap founder hits this moment. Someone sends you a contract, or you need to hire your first employee, or a developer needs a proper agreement. You know you should get a lawyer, but lawyers are $300 to $500 an hour, and you just spent $400 getting an NDA reviewed last week. And at this rate, legal fees are going to burn through your runway before you even launch. So, when can you handle contracts yourself? And when do you absolutely need a lawyer? I'm James, and I teach business law at BC and Northeastern law schools. And I spent the last 12 years helping startups figure this out. Today, I'm giving you the framework that I use. Quick disclaimer, I am not your lawyer, and this is education, but I can show you how to think about this. So here's a trap most founders fall into. You think, I'll save $2,000 by not hiring a lawyer for this contract. And then 3 months later, the contractor didn't deliver, and your contract doesn't protect you, or your employee left and took your IP, or a vendor is holding your code hostage. Now you're spending $10,000 to fix a problem that $2,000 would have prevented. Legal fees feel expensive until you need them. But here's the flip side. You also can't afford to pay $400 an hour to review every NDA, every small contract, every routine agreement. It's not sustainable, and when you're bootstrapping, it's pretty much impossible. So you need a framework, and I'm going to call this the contract triage framework. Think of contracts in 4 categories. Category 1, under $10,000, routine, low risk. This is your NDAs, your small contractor agreements, your simple service agreements, your software subscriptions. Your approach for this? Handle these yourself with good templates. Why? Because legal fees will be 20 to 50% of the entire deal value, and that math just ain't mathing. What you need for this? Solid templates and enough knowledge to be able to customize them. The time investment? 1 to 3 hours per contract. Category 2, $10,000 to $50,000, somewhat complex situations. Your first employee agreements, medium-sized vendor contracts, larger contractor agreements. This approach, draft it yourself, have a lawyer review. And why? Because you'll spend $500 to $1,000 for review instead of $3,000 for them to draft it from scratch, and you just saved a couple grand. Category 3, $50,000 to $100,000. This is important relationships, VP level hires, major vendor relationships, strategic partnerships, co-founder agreements. This approach, the lawyer drafts or is heavily involved. And why? Because the risk justifies spending $2,000 to $4,000. Because this is where the mistakes get really expensive. Then in category 4, over $100,000, complex, high risk, fundraising documents, acquisition agreements, major customer contracts. Your approach for this? Full legal representation. Don't DIY this stuff. One mistake here could cost more than the entire legal bill. It could cost more than your company is worth. Let me walk you through some actual situations. Scenario 1, someone sends you an NDA before a pitch meeting. Category 1, routine, low risk. What do? Review it yourself using a checklist. Look for the duration exceptions, whether it's mutual, any weird stuff in it. Standards, sounds like it. Okay, sign it. Something looks off, ask your lawyer one specific question. Cost, 0 if standard, maybe a couple $100 if you need some input on a clause. Scenario 2, you're hiring your first employee. This is category 2 now. Important, moderate complexity. You want to start with a solid template and you want to customize it. The salary, the title, the IP assignment, the confidentiality. You're going to send it to your lawyer with a note. I drafted this, please review for any issues. They spend 1 or 2 hours reviewing instead of 5 or 6 hours drafting. The cost? Maybe $500 to $1,000 for review versus $3,000 for a full drafting. Scenario 3, you're signing a $75,000 development contract. We're in category 3 now. Significant money, important relationship. You want to discuss this with your lawyer first. The IP ownership, payment, structure, liability, termination. Then the lawyer drafts or heavily reviews their contract. You handle back and forth. The lawyer reviews the final version. Cost $2,500 or more. Why it's worth it? Because this is your product. The IP ownership issues could even kill your company faster than a fundraise mistake. Scenario 4, you're raising a $2 million seed round. This is category 4. This is complex, high risk. You need to hire an experienced startup lawyer. They draft the documents, negotiate with investor counsel, handle the due diligence. Cost $10,000 to $25,000 or a little more. Why it's worth it? Securities law is involved. This is not DIY territory anymore. Now look, I know you're thinking, but I'm pre-revenue. I can't afford any lawyers, and I hear you. So here's your priority order. Must have legal help, formation documents, IP assignment from founders and early contractors, your first fundraising round documents. You can probably DIY with some good templates, some NDAs, small contractor agreements, simple service agreements. Need some lawyer review, but you can probably draft it yourself. Employment agreements, medium-sized vendor contracts, partnership agreements. Here's the skill that you need to build though. You need to get good enough at contracts to spot red flags in agreements that are sent to you. Draft routine agreements from templates. Know when something's over your head and ask lawyers targeted questions. That's what actually saves you money. If you call a lawyer and say, "Can you review this contract?" they might spend 2 or 3 hours and charge you $800 to $1,200. But if you call and say, "I reviewed this contract, everything looks good and standard except Section 8.3 has some unusual indemnification language. Can you take a look at that for me?" They'll spend 20 minutes, maybe 30, charge you 150, 200 bucks. Do you see the difference yet? All right, so let's do the math that actually works. You take a contract course for $500. Over the next year, you review 10 NDAs yourself. That's $4,000 saved. You draft 3 contractor agreements with lawyer review. That's $6,000 saved. You spot a problematic clause before signing. That prevented a $10,000 dispute. Total value, $20,000 plus. Cost, $500 for the education. That's a 40x return. Bottom line, you cannot afford to hire a lawyer for everything, but you also can't afford to DIY everything. The solution isn't choosing one or the other. It's building enough knowledge to handle the routine contracts yourself, draft initial versions of the important ones, know when you're in over your head, and ask targeted questions when you hire counsel. That skill saves you $20,000 plus per year while still protecting your business. If you want to learn this, how to review contracts, draft agreements, know when to call a lawyer, I built a free course that starts with NDAs. It's at thedraftingstudio.com. It's called Crack the NDA Code, and it's free because every founder should have these skills. The paid courses are going to go deeper. Employment agreements, service contracts, everything that you'll need as you grow, how to spot the issues. But start with the free one. Learn the framework. See if this makes sense for you. And if you're in the middle of a contract situation right now and you're not sure whether to handle it yourself or call a lawyer, drop a comment and I'll give you my honest take. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week, legal stuff that entrepreneurs actually need to know, explained in plain English. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.